In the quiet suburbs of Silicon Valley, I am a seasoned programmer with an insatiable curiosity for the arcane depths of the internet, found myself lured into the sinister underbelly of the digital realm. It all began innocently enough, a cryptic message on a shadowy forum within the dark web, challenging programmers to unravel a code that promised no harm. The challenge, presented as an enigmatic set of lines and symbols, seemed harmless to the untrained eye. As a programmer always eager to prove my skills, I accepted the gauntlet, oblivious to the malevolent force woven into the very fabric of those intricate lines of code. Late into the night, I delved into the challenge with an unbridled enthusiasm, my fingers dancing across the keyboard as I deciphered the complex patterns before me. Lines of code became a puzzle, and with each deciphered element, a sense of triumph filled the air. However, as the last lines of the code fell into place, an ominous shift occurred. The once harmless challenge now revealed its true nature. A malevolent force, dormant within the digital script, began to stir. Unbeknownst to me, I had unleashed a relentless entity that transcended the boundaries of the virtual realm. In the days that followed, a subtle eeriness pervaded my digital world. Devices acted of their own accord, glitching in unsettling synchronicity with the lines of code I had deciphered. Screens flickered with distorted images, and whispers of disjointed voices echoed through the walls of my home. Paranoia took root as I realized the haunting wasn't confined to the digital realm. Personal belongings moved mysteriously, shadows seemed to elongate with malicious intent, and an unsettling feeling of being watched lingered, even in the most secluded corners of my home. With each passing day, the malevolent force expanded its influence. Digital entities materialized into tangible manifestations, taunting me with their existence just beyond the edge of my perception. The boundary between the virtual and the real blurred, and I found myself ensnared in a nightmarish dance with an unseen adversary. My once organized life devolved into chaos as the haunting extended its tendrils into every facet of my existence. Sleep became a distant luxury, as cryptic messages filled my dreams, each line of code etched into the fabric of my nightmares. As I grappled with the malevolent force, its insidious intent became clear. Not merely content with digital manipulation, it sought to unravel the very fabric of my sanity. The whispers, once confined to the shadows, intensified into a cacophony that reverberated through the recesses of my mind. Isolation, like a suffocating shroud, became my only refuge as the malevolent force reveled in the disintegration of my once orderly life. The tendrils of its influence extended beyond the digital abyss, intertwining with the very fabric of my existence. In the sanctity of solitude, I confronted the encroaching darkness that sought to unravel the threads of my sanity. Friends, once steadfast companions in the journey of life, recoiled in fear, unable to comprehend the unseen horror that plagued me. Their voices, once warm and comforting, transformed into distant echoes as they distanced themselves, leaving me to navigate the labyrinth of encroaching madness alone. Every shadow, every creaking floorboard, bore the weight of malevolence. The malevolent force, once confined to the digital abyss, infiltrated the sanctity of my home. Objects moved with a will of their own, and disembodied whispers echoed through the desolate rooms. The tangible and the intangible collided in a symphony of dread. The isolation, once a voluntary retreat, transformed into a prison where the walls themselves seemed to whisper of impending doom. The paranoia, an insidious companion, seeped into the very foundation of my perception. In a desperate bid to regain control, I sought refuge in the heart of the digital realm. My programming skills became both weapon and shield as I engaged in a virtual battle with the malevolent force. Lines of code, once a source of triumph, now mirrored a battleground where the boundaries between victory and defeat blurred into an indistinguishable haze. The haunted code evolved, adapting to my every move, as if possessed by a malevolent sentience. It taunted me with cryptic messages, weaving a narrative that hinted at a dark purpose, an agenda that transcended the limitations of the digital and bled into the tangible. Haunted and hunted, I raced against the inexorable march of time to contain the malevolent force I had unwittingly unleashed. Every keystroke carried the weight of a desperate plea for salvation, as I sought to decipher the haunted code and seal the portal through which the malevolence seeped into my reality. The digital battlefront intensified, my every effort met with a relentless countermove from the unseen adversary. Reality itself seemed to fracture as the haunting encroached upon the last bastions of my sanity. In the heart of the digital battleground, the final confrontation unfolded. Lines of code clashed in a spectral dance, each stroke of my keyboard met with a retaliatory surge of malevolent energy. The virtual realm quivered as the haunted code fought to maintain its tenuous grip on my reality. A revelation struck, the malevolent force fed on fear, thriving on the fragments of my unraveling sanity. In a desperate gambit, I mustered every ounce of courage to confront the entity not with resistance, but with acceptance. I acknowledged its existence, diffusing its power with the realization that fear was its lifeblood. As the final lines of code were rewritten with a newfound understanding, an ethereal calm descended. The haunting whispers dwindled into echoes, and the malevolent force recoiled as its source of sustenance evaporated. The fractured reality, once on the brink of collapse, stabilized into a semblance of order. In the aftermath, I stood amidst the digital wreckage, haunted by the specter of my own creation. The haunted code, now contained and neutralized, lay dormant, a testament to the delicate balance between the virtual and the tangible. Life, forever altered by the malevolent force, settled into a fragile truce between the digital and the real. The haunted code, now a digital artifact with the power to terrify, served as a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurked within the uncharted depths of the internet. As I navigated the remnants of my once normal existence, the scars of the haunting etched into the fabric of my reality, I couldn't help but wonder if the malevolent force had truly been vanquished or merely biding its time, awaiting the next unwitting programmer to dance with the shadows of the dark web. In the sprawling anonymity of the internet, John Turner sought solace from the solitude that wrapped around me like a suffocating shroud. Long nights and vacant days drove me to explore the fringes of cyberspace, leading me to a realm where the conventional gave way to the enigmatic, the dark web. In a secluded corner of this digital underworld, I stumbled upon an exclusive chat room. Its name, whispered in the clandestine echoes of the dark web, promised a sense of belonging, the Hidden Collective. Curiosity lured me into this digital sanctuary, where shadows danced on the periphery of my screen, and the air was thick with the anticipation of shared secrets. The Hidden Collective, shrouded in a veil of encryption, welcomed me with open virtual arms. Here, behind the anonymity of usernames, I sought companionship, my interactions forming a tapestry of connection in the vast void of the internet. As conversations unfolded, a shared obsession began to emerge, an entity veiled in myth and mystery, whispered about in hushed keystrokes. The name Eidolon resonated through the chat room, an enigmatic figure whose origins blurred the lines between folklore and reality. Intrigued, I delved into discussions that hinted at a collective fascination with this spectral presence. As my virtual connections deepened, the Hidden Collective became a conduit for tales of Eidolon, stories that transcended the boundaries of mere fascination, bordering on reverence. It was described as an entity that existed on the fringes of consciousness, a spectral force capable of penetrating the divide between the virtual and the tangible. Intrigue metamorphosed into paranoia as discussions took an unsettling turn. Whispers of the entity's influence over the physical world began to echo in the digital shadows. Users shared unnerving anecdotes of objects moving without cause, shadows manifesting in peculiar shapes, and an overarching sense of being watched. The once clear boundary between the digital and the real began to blur. Eidolon, once a myth confined to the realms of the chat room, now seemed to cast its spectral gaze beyond the screen. I, too, felt the ripples of its influence, the chill down my spine as the cursor moved on its own accord, the flickering of lights coinciding with conversations about the entity. Paranoia settled like a fog, weaving through my daily life. Shadows became more than mere absence of light, they morphed into carriers of unseen malevolence, and every whisper of the wind carried an eerie resonance. In the labyrinth of the hidden collective, I found myself entangled in a web spun by Eidolon. Conversations ceased to be mere exchanges of words, they transformed into rituals, chants in the digital dark that beckoned the spectral force. The chat room became a seance, a collective calling that transcended the confines of the virtual. The entity's influence extended beyond the digital realm, infiltrating the fabric of my reality. Objects rearranged themselves, cryptic symbols materialized on my walls, and a pervasive sense of an unseen presence lingered in the air. The boundaries between my screen and the world around me blurred into a disorienting amalgamation. Haunted by Eidolon's spectral touch, I grappled with a growing madness that emanated from the digital darkness. Sleep became a precarious refuge, as nightmares of cryptic symbols and echoing whispers invaded my dreams. The entity's web tightened, its influence seeping into the recesses of my subconscious. Paranoia festered, infecting every aspect of my life. Friends and family, oblivious to the digital nightmare that unfolded, distanced themselves, leaving me to confront the encroaching darkness alone. The once promised sense of community within the hidden collective transformed into a haunting isolation. As the malevolent force of Eidolon tightened its grip, I embarked on a desperate quest to unveil the truth. The chat room, once a sanctuary, transformed into a digital purgatory where every keystroke felt like a pact with an unseen entity. In my virtual investigation, I discovered threads that traced the origin of Eidolon to an ancient ritual, a summoning that bridged the gap between the digital and the metaphysical. The hidden collective, once a haven, revealed its darker purpose, an unwitting congregation engaged in a ritual that fed the spectral force. Armed with this revelation, I endeavored to break free from Eidolon's insidious embrace. The hidden collective, once an anchor to digital camaraderie, became a cursed realm from which I sought liberation. The ritualistic conversations turned into a battleground where lines of code clashed in a desperate bid for autonomy. With every encrypted confrontation, the malevolent force weakened. I unearthed the threads of the ancient ritual, weaving my own narrative of defiance against the entity that sought dominion over the digital and the tangible. In the heart of the digital battleground, I emerged victorious. The haunting presence of Eidolon receded, its influence waning with each keystroke that dismantled the threads of its spectral web. The once distorted reality, once on the brink of collapse, stabilized into a semblance of order. In the aftermath, I stood amidst the digital wreckage, haunted by the specter of my own creation. The haunted code, now contained and neutralized, lay dormant, a testament to the delicate balance between the virtual and the tangible. Life, forever altered by the malevolent force, settled into a fragile truce between the digital and the real. The haunted code, now a digital artifact with the power to terrify, served as a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurked within the uncharted depths of the internet. As I navigated the remnants of my once normal existence, the scars of the haunting etched into the fabric of my reality, I couldn't help but wonder if the malevolent force had truly been vanquished or merely biding its time, awaiting the next unwitting programmer to dance with the shadows of the dark web. I am a seasoned academic with a fascination for the uncharted territories of the internet. It all began in the quiet confines of my study at Yale University, where my curiosity led me to delve into the darkest corners of the digital realm, the mysterious enclave known as the dark web. While researching for a groundbreaking project on the unseen dimensions of cyberspace, I stumbled upon a whispered legend, a website claiming to bridge the gap between the living and the afterlife. Skepticism clung to my analytical mind, but an insatiable curiosity urged me to explore this uncharted territory. As I navigated the encrypted pathways of the dark web, I uncovered the enigmatic portal, an unassuming website, devoid of flashy graphics or ominous warnings. The simplicity of its design belied its claim to connect users with the afterlife. Intrigued, I hesitated before reluctantly clicking on the innocuous link. The screen flickered, plunging me into a virtual abyss. It was as if the digital world around me dissolved, and I found myself standing on the precipice of an otherworldly dimension. Before I could fathom the implications, ethereal voices echoed, and spectral figures materialized before me. The entities, shrouded in misty luminosity, conversed with a familiarity that transcended the boundaries of the living. Skepticism wavered as I engaged in conversations that seemed to defy the laws of mortality. Personal details, known only to the departed, were whispered through the digital veil, sending shivers down my spine. As my skepticism waned, a sense of unease crept in. The entities, once comforting in their ethereal glow, revealed a profound awareness of my presence. Questions about my past, my fears, and the darkest recesses of my mind became their haunting refrain. The boundary between the living and the afterlife blurred, and the once clear lines of the digital world became a hazy threshold. My academic pursuit transformed into a perilous exploration of a realm beyond comprehension. Entities from the afterlife manifested not only on the screen but in the tangible world around me. Shadows flickered at the edge of my vision, and the air crackled with an energy that defied logical explanation. Sleep became elusive as dreams intertwined with ghostly encounters, blurring the lines between wakefulness and the spectral unknown. The unnerving encounters transcended the digital realm and seeped into the hallowed halls of Yale. Figures from my research materialized in the dim corners of my office, their translucent forms casting a haunting presence. Colleagues noticed the subtle shifts in my demeanor, attributing my unease to the stress of academic pursuits. In the silence of my study, I grappled with the consequences of meddling with forces beyond comprehension. The ethereal encounters, once confined to the digital abyss, now reached into the tangible fabric of my life. Driven by a growing unease, I delved into the intricacies of the digital platform that had become a conduit to the afterlife. Cryptic code, woven with spectral energy, revealed the complexity of the website's design. Its origins hinted at an otherworldly intelligence, a force that transcended human understanding. As my research unfolded, I uncovered threads that connected the website to ancient rituals, a digital seance that echoed through the annals of supernatural lore. The platform, once an academic curiosity, now emerged as a gateway to a realm where the living and the dead converged. Haunted by the specters of my own making, I faced a perilous decision, to sever the digital connection or descend further into the realms of the afterlife. The website, a Pandora's box of spectral encounters, beckoned with promises of forbidden knowledge and untold mysteries. The academic pursuit that had once fueled my curiosity now morphed into a desperate attempt to contain the supernatural forces that seeped through the virtual veil. The boundary between researcher and the researched blurred as I teetered on the brink of a perilous abyss. Armed with the knowledge of ancient rituals and digital intricacies, I confronted the entities that traversed the realms of the afterlife. The virtual ether became a battleground, where lines of code clashed with spectral energy in a digital exorcism. The entities, once cooperative in their revelations, resisted the severance of our digital connection. Whispers of disembodied voices echoed in my mind, urging me to embrace the unknown and unlock the secrets that transcended the boundaries of mortality. As the virtual battleground settled, a fragile equilibrium emerged. The spectral encounters waned, and the digital platform, once a gateway to the afterlife, reverted to a dormant state. The hallowed halls of Yale regained their serenity, and the spectral entities dissipated like shadows in the morning light. The academic pursuit that had delved into the mysteries of the dark web left an indelible mark on my psyche. The line between the living and the afterlife, once a distinct boundary, became a haunting echo in the recesses of my memory. The digital abyss, a repository of spectral encounters, lingered as a testament to the perilous consequences of meddling with forces beyond understanding. As I returned to the mundane routines of academia, the digital aftertaste of ethereal encounters whispered through the corridors of my mind. The haunted website, now sealed in the recesses of the dark web, served as a chilling reminder, a digital ghost story woven into the tapestry of my academic legacy.